Hello beautiful people and welcome to Tia Things, the YouTube channel. So some of you may already know me from Tia Things, which is my blog. Feel free to check the link down below. I also run all the social media that goes with that blog, obviously. So you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Basically, I've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel for quite some time and I keep putting it off. And recently I just had a lot more people kind of coming to me recommending that I start a YouTube channel or bringing it up. So that kind of pushed me to finally do it. So here we are, very first YouTube video, and it's gonna go with my blog. So my most recent blog was called I Read the Bridgerton series in 7 days. So with that, I'm kind of gonna do a little book review of the Bridgerton series. I read it, what my thoughts were, etc, etc, etc. I am gonna do some little spoilers, but I am the girl that always likes to kind of be pulled in but not be told the whole story. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna give some spoilers, but I'm definitely not gonna give away like the main items of the stories in any way. So this is all probably information most of you already know. I mean, Bridgerton, at least season 1, was very successful on Netflix. So I'm sure you guys have already heard some of the main storylines. Essentially, there are 8 siblings in the Bridgerton family. So each of them has a book and a dedicated storyline to their own love life, really. It's their life, but mostly they're all love stories. So the very first book is called The Duke and I. It is what the first season on Netflix is based off of. So a lot of you, because it's widely popular, a lot of you probably already know. It is about Daphne, who is the oldest sister, but not the oldest sibling entirely of the family. She marries the Duke of Hastings after a whirlwind romance, basically. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on the first book, so long story very short, because most of you already probably know. Daphne and the Duke kind of make a deal. If she pretends to be interested in him and he pretends to be interested in her, the men will flock to her, which is what she wants. She wants a lot of husband options. And if she pretends to be interested in him, it'll kind of get the annoying people around him off his back. Really long story, very short. So they obviously give each other this favor. This is a storyline we've definitely seen before. It's not brand new. What kind of makes it different is definitely the era it's in. It's in old London, so a few things you should know before I get started. The Ton is what they refer to as like high society of London. So the Ton refers to all of these events. The Ton attend them. The Ton is like any like high society British at the time. Lady Danbury will come and go throughout this video, so you should also probably know her. She is essentially the queen. There's no need for more dramatics than that. She's the queen. And yeah, like I said, we'll just go with the flow. So book 1 really follows the Netflix series. Well, actually the series followed the book really well. So if you've watched the series, the book is just as good. It hooks you in just as much. There's like some minor things that are cut out of the series, which I'm not surprised. I mean, any book adaptation to movie or TV, they always have to cut stuff out because there's just details in books that you can't make the time for in a movie or in some episodes. But overall, I mean, it's so good. So I highly recommend reading book 1, even if you've watched the series on TV. I'm just not going to spend time on it because it follows exactly the storyline that you see on TV. So for most of you, that would be kind of boring. So the next book, which I was so excited to read because you see him a lot in season 1 and in book 1, his name is Anthony. He is the oldest sibling of the Bridgerton flock, essentially. He is like the Viscount, so he has taken over his dad's responsibilities. His dad passed away. For those of you who don't know, the father of this whole family passed away years ago. So from the start, we don't have a father throughout the books. Anthony, for his other siblings, is very much that father figure. He takes that on immensely, and you see it throughout the books, especially in his own story. They kind of do a focus on how that weighs on him. And I'm so excited because the dad is actually very present in this book in memories, and it has been confirmed by Netflix that they're going to be doing the same thing for the TV adaptation of season 2. So we will have like a Mr. Bridgerton in the TV series. So I'm really excited to see that. Anthony's story is probably one of my favorites. I can't pick a favorite. Maybe I will by the end of this video. But basically, Anthony is just wanting to get married. His sister got married. He's happy for her. She kind of took the weight off his shoulders by marrying a duke. He still has a lot of responsibility as the Viscount, but the Duke and Duchess are definitely taking that star power away from him, which he's happy about. He doesn't want any kind of spotlight. He doesn't even really want to get married. He doesn't care to fall in love. He just wants this wedding done, sign the paper, get to the chapel, and call it a day. So he essentially decides one season. So this season is basically that time of year where they present all the eligible young bachelorettes, basically. Think of the Bachelor franchise. And so they get presented. There's always a diamond of the season. So in Daphne's book, she was the diamond, so she had a lot of attention. So Anthony basically goes up to all his younger brothers, I think mainly the two that are right after him, and asks them, like, who's the diamond of the season? I'll just marry her, whoever she is. Like, he doesn't care about falling in love, getting to know this girl. He's like, if she's acceptable, that's all I care. Which she obviously is. She is stunning. She has like a rare beauty, like blue eyes and all these things that kind of make her stand out. And so he starts courting her, which, you know, it's olden time England. That's how they went about things. And through courting her, he finds out that to this girl, the only thing that matters is what her sister thinks. Her sister's name is Kate. And see, I don't even remember the girl's name because she becomes so unimportant. Spoiler. So Kate is the older sister, and basically she needs to give her approval for anyone that the younger sister is interested in potentially marrying. That's all the younger sister cares about. They don't have a dad in their circle, parallel to Anthony, which is a nice link. So Kate is the person that the little sister really cares to have her approval. Obviously, while he is courting the sister, he gets to know Kate because he's trying to impress her. And he really likes her. She's like a no bullshit. Can I swear on here? Okay. She's like a no BS personality. She just wants to get to the bottom of things. She's like, why do you care about my sister? She wants to know that he's going to take care of her and all this stuff. And through getting to know each other, they kind of find out they're both this sarcastic, sassy personality that just gives no fucks. So they get along really well and they start to get to know each other, and all the family can kind of see that it's more about Anthony and Kate than Anthony and the other sister. It's pretty obvious. Even the sister kind of sees it. There's no like awkwardness or jealousy with the sister, just to be clear. And so you'll find out how Mr. Bridgerton died. I don't want to say how, because it really impacts this story, but essentially what happened to his dad happens to Kate. And in that moment, Anthony gets terrified. He thinks Kate's gonna die. He's doing whatever he can to save her. And in this hoopla, he ends up doing something a little scandalous and they get seen. So obviously in this day and age, guys, think of where the story's placed. You're not allowed to kiss or mingle in any kind of way. That would be considered, you need to get married at that point. So they are seen by three of the most important moms, including his own mom, Kate's mom, and the mom of another very popular family who can't keep a secret for her life. So it's obviously decided that they're gonna get married. And throughout the story, obviously they fall more and more in love with each other. Kate gets to know more about him. You find out a lot about Kate's childhood, things that you didn't know, and they're kind of hinted at. So they both have a lot of trauma in their childhoods, which is something that I really liked, because not that the other books don't dig into like childhood trauma and stuff. You know, the Bridgerton father figure comes up a lot and how his loss impacted almost each child, but childhood trauma is definitely one of the big themes of this novel, and it's just done so well. Like nightmares and things like that, where like PTSD comes into play, and where something small to anyone else is huge to Anthony because it's something that he saw and impacted his whole life. So what I love about this is that Kate and her no BS attitude come back in almost every other book. And I love that because some of them don't come back, which, you know, they have reasons, fine, but I love seeing them coming back in for their other siblings. So I was really happy when we saw Kate and Anthony come back, at least for an appearance, in almost every other book. And so that pretty much sums up, with not too many spoilers, Anthony's story. You guys should definitely read it because I mean, you guys have seen him on TV, just like, yeah, it's a great book. So book 3 moves on to the second brother of the Bridgerton family and the second oldest sibling, whose name is Benedict. Benedict's story, okay, I got about halfway through and then I was truly interested. So the whole first half, I was kind of annoyed because it's a very classic Cinderella story. Like, this girl, like, she is the step sibling. She's treated like Cinderella. She's like their slave and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes to the ball. It's literally Cinderella. She has to like leave by midnight so she gets home before them. So I was a little bit irritated in a nice way. It was still a good story. It's just that like it's been done and we don't need to read it over and over again. And I thought that we didn't need that in this series. But what's great is then it skips to 2 years later when they meet again. And so that was really interesting. That was kind of a different play on everything. And obviously the Bridgerton family are part of the ton. They're like higher up. And this girl is basically just known as a servant. So there's a lot of drama in this one. And I have to say, in this book, this is where you really fall and become really attached to the mother of all these Bridgerton kids, Violet. She's in every book, but in this book, she's like queen. Like, you close the book not thrilled, like you're thrilled for Benedict and his love and everything, but at the end you're just like, go Violet. Like, she's the one that you root for almost throughout this book because she really makes the magic happen. So we love Violet. And the great thing about this book is that this one kind of tames a storyline that the other ones don't, which mainly is about the class differences. And you don't see that really in any of the other books. And although Benedict is already kind of okay because Daphne is now a Duchess and the brother's the Viscount and he's married, Benedict's still like one of the older siblings and he still carries some weight and reputation. So for him to marry someone of such lower class that is a servant, kind of wild. And I just love how they do it. And then they find out actually her real identity, spoiler alert, she is not a servant, but he still wants to be with her whether he knew she was a servant or not. So this is kind of where I'm gonna leave it. I don't know if it's a good spot, but it's a good book. I just say stick with it. If you're kind of fed up with the Cinderella story, stick with it because it'll pay off in the end. The next book is the one that is called Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. We are down to brother number 3, book number 4, Colin. If you watch season 1 on Netflix, you love Colin and you're rooting for Penelope because you know that they need to get together. This is the book where, okay, this is a major spoiler, but it happens. They get together and it is really cute. And what I like is this is the 4th book and it's the 4th completely different story angle. So this book like focuses completely on how the friendship turns into a romance and how he goes over years to now seeing Penelope in this different light. The whole family loves her, all this stuff. So I won't spend too much time on theirs because there's honestly not too much spoilers to give. It was a page turner. It was written in a way that really made you want to like know, like, but will they make it? And all these stuff. So I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. Colin is probably one of my favorite brothers because he's so quiet, but then he just shows up out of nowhere sometimes for like the best scenes and the best comebacks. So I do really like that about him. And obviously, like I said, if you've watched season 1 on Netflix or read any of the first books, you were rooting for Penelope to get her man, and she did. So I really recommend this one because it's just satisfying at the end to know that she got to him. So definitely recommend. The next book, okay. The next book is Eloise. So this is the first time we're back to a sister since Daphne. Obviously, Daphne was the first one to get married, and then you're just looking at the stories of 3 men. So it's very different. You're kind of more in the thought process of the men. And now we're to Eloise. So book number 5. Hey guys, I'm just editing this and realizing how long this video is getting. So I'm actually going to divide it into 2 parts. I will start off at Eloise's book in part 2, which I'm going to post right away so you guys can watch them both. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already. See you soon. That's Tia Things for today.